Hi guys, Liz Truss has picked up a few new supporters on her way to number 10, but many of the older ones have been speaking to the media trying to convince the public and Tory party members that the Foreign Secretary delivered on Brexit. Therese Coffey, the Secretary of State for the Department of Work and Pensions, was challenged by Nick Ferrari about worker shortages in agriculture, obviously caused by Brexit. So what did Coffey do? Well, she dodged the question and answered her own question. This is all in relation to a story published in The Telegraph on Sunday, where Truss seems to be doing a Brexit U-turn on immigration. Farmers can't get the staff they need, and it looks like the Brexit Wonder Woman realises that she needs to, or at least say something about this. Have a listen.
I mean, Dr. Coffey, you've referenced a couple of times that the United Kingdom has left the EU, which is absolutely right. Many people would say that that's one of the contributory factors to the problems that we have in some of our farms, that we don't have those workers coming in, digging up the potatoes and picking the strawberries and the apples. How true is that? And if so, has that been a failure of Brexit?
Well, there is in place a season agricultural workers scheme. The point about leaving the European Union is about taking control of immigration.
Notice what she does here. When she's asked a question, she doesn't answer the question. She just repeats what she was already saying with an increased level of volume.
So one of the things that Liz is setting out is potentially an expansion of that, but also a little bit more time in order to try and design a scheme with the farming industry on what works well. So, for example, some people need to come in for quite a short amount of time on chicken plucking and turkey plucking. That wasn't initially in the proposals. They've been added more recently, but
They were added because farmers put pressure through select committees, and the industry put pressure through select committees on the government. Now, I covered this before, and the response from the Home Office at the time was, we don't give a crap. We will decide who comes in. We will decide how many visas are issued. And they refused and refused and refused. And now it seems Liz Truss is going to save the day. Liz Truss is going to decide how many visas are issued. This is going to be, once again, a struggle between individual departments and the Home Office. I don't know who will be the Secretary of State, but who will be the Home Secretary, sorry. If it's Priti Patel again, we're just going to see the same sort of back and forth. And I don't see farmers getting the extra visas they need. But this is, once again, a consequence of ending freedom of movement. It has become much more difficult for farmers to get access to the staff they need. And we've been talking about this for 2 years now. And the response was always, we needed to take back control.
So I'm making sure we have a flexible scheme and, again, having that control about immigration. But nevertheless, whether it's about trade deals around the world, where the Australia-New Zealand trade deal, this is the sort of thing where Liz, in negotiating that, basically gave Australia and New Zealand the same access as the European Union does.
What is she talking? Why is she using this as some sort of promotion for Liz Truss? This is New Zealand television. Back last year after the New Zealand-UK trade deal was signed.
With shock to the terms of a new free trade deal with New Zealand.
The deal will see Kiwi meat imported without tariffs, and farmers in the UK say they get nothing in return. As Europe correspondent Lisette Raymer reports, they fear it will change their businesses dramatically.
A world away from rejoicing Kiwi farmers, their welly-wearing counterparts feel as though they are the sacrificial lambs of the free trade deal.
We're not competing on a level playing field.
The UK's less intensive approach to farming means their offerings could quickly be outpriced and outstocked by New Zealand's once tariffs are removed.
For a lot of people, it is all about price. So when you are at the shelf and you've got one leg at this price, one leg at another price, people have got to make those decisions.
And she's right. And that's the decisions people will make. They're not going to say, well, I'm going to support British farming because I believe in British farming. They support whatever they can afford, especially during this cost of living crisis. And the idea that Therese Coffey is suggesting, look at this wonderful trade deal that Liz Truss signed. She's the one who's backing British farming at the moment. No, she's not. She's thrown British farming under a tractor.
Does to UK markets. So it's about making sure that we can export a lot more easily, as well as some of the produce in particular that only Australia and New Zealand are producing can come into our country more readily as well. So it's a combination of both inward investment, exports, but genuinely about supporting British agriculture production.
The original question was, why are farmers not able to get access to the workers they need? And all Therese Coffey has talked about here is trade deals and better deals for farmers and better ways of importing and exporting. And she hasn't actually covered the problem. She said something about, yes, Liz Truss is going to make sure more visas are issued. But that's not really sorting out this problem. And what's happening is there's a real change taking place in farming. Now, for the Brexiteers, they'll say, well, farming has to adapt to a changing environment. But you're going to start to see smaller production or mass production owned by foreign companies. And the rich will be able to afford the smaller production, and the rest of the population will have to pay for the imported stuff. British farming is going to change. Brexit has caused that, and it's going to become more difficult, not just for farming, but for other sectors as well, to get access to the staff they need. Now, this maybe is an attempt by Liz Truss to reach out to the farming sector, the farming communities around England, because she knows she needs to rely on those for votes. But I don't think it's going to cut it. They have been badly damaged by Brexit and by Liz Truss's trade deals, and I think they're going to punish her at the next election. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.